Update, my 22M, GF, 23F, is secretly visiting my abusive parents with our son, 3M, and doesn't understand why this upset me. We had a huge fight and I don't know what to do now. First of all, thank you for all the comments and input. I didn't feel like I could even think when I made my initial post, so it was good getting different perspectives. This will be a long post, but I'll put a TLDR at the bottom. I did write that my GF and I would talk that same day I posted, but we didn't because I needed to sort myself out, and I think she did too. She's been avoiding me ever since and requested we talk at her parents' place, but I didn't want that, so we didn't get to talk until yesterday while my son was at my sister's. Apparently in September last year my mother reached out to my GF on FB asking how me and my son were doing. My mother is a very intelligent woman but highly manipulative. She convinced my GF to visit them because my father is ill. My GF said she didn't tell me because she knew I'd say no and she wanted to see what kind of people my parents were. She brought our son but didn't leave him alone at first, but their visits got fairly regular and she became comfortable with leaving him with my parents. He seemed fine, even seemed to like it there, so she didn't feel like he was in danger. The first time she left my son fully alone was when she went Christmas shopping. I think from what I had told her about my childhood home, she expected a house of horrors, but according to her the place was clean and fixed up, the dog was healthy and my parents were nice. The thing is that she knew something happened to my sister. I never told her what happened to me, which I now see I probably should have done. She doesn't see predators everywhere like I do, and when my son didn't report anything negative she saw no issue taking him and leaving him there. It's pretty clear that she doesn't know anything about abuse and what it can look like. I don't understand how she could think she'd be able to spot the signs with this little knowledge. My father has been in contact with children most of my life, and while I don't know if he's done anything to them, my sister always said he knew how to make children feel at ease. Both my parents are very methodical and calculating, so I don't blame her for believing them, but I blame her for not discussing this with me. She went to visit them after talking to my mother for a few days. Meanwhile I've lived there for 17 years and somehow she thought she knew better than me. Even when I told her some details about my childhood she still tried to push supervised visits, saying my father was ill and my son had a right to meet his grandparents, which I don't agree with at all. The thought of children being around these people makes me sick, but she seems reluctant to agree to officially limit their visitation rights. I'd need her agreement however, unless I want a court case. I also tried to explain why this felt like a betrayal, because this is not just about putting my son in danger, it's also about her going behind my back for months. What else would she be capable of? Then she told my son to keep the visits a secret, which is exactly what abusers say too. She did apologize, saying she made an honest mistake and feels like I'm blowing this out of proportion and that her parents think so too. Besides, our son is fine and I shouldn't have raised my voice at her mother and should be more grateful for what her parents have done for me and us over the years, which I owe them, sure, but that doesn't mean they can just overrule my parenting decisions or get so involved. I feel like neither her nor her parents trust me or take me seriously, and it's so frustrating when the mother of your son is pretty much actively working against you. I don't think she can even grasp how terrified I was when I talked to my son about their visits. Again, I know it's my fault for not telling her everything, but I never thought she would do something like that. My past never really affected me much anyway. I never felt like there was a reason for her to know all the details. Honestly, I don't know if anything is resolved. I know why she made the choices she made, but I don't feel like she understands why I was, and still am upset. She left after bringing up her mother because I got angry, and I know I shouldn't have, but I reveal something so big and just still don't get taken seriously. I want us to work and she agreed that it'd take a lot of work to get back to before all of this, which I'm not sure is even possible. I apparently deeply upset her and scared our son. True, I never wanted us to fight in front of him like that either, and I angered her family. I think for me emotionally all feelings for her vanished the moment I found out, so that's kind of where I'm at now. I wish we could make it work for his sake, but I don't want him to grow up with dysfunctional parents or with his parents fighting every day, so if this doesn't work out he'll need to get a lawyer. I'm willing to put in the work needed for us to stay together, but I've been doing a lot of thinking. We were so young when we started dating and had our son, and I'm not sure I ever thought about us staying together forever. I only stayed because I was living with them, and then I stayed because I didn't want to be a shitty teen dad, abandoning my son and the girl I loved, because I really did love her I think. Also I am partially responsible for her being pregnant in the first place, before he was even born. As for my son, I have talked a lot to him these past few days. I had taught him about touch and what's okay and what isn't, so I just hope it's true that nothing happened. He has also, apparently, not seen anything inappropriate. Our fight got to him though, and he knows I was sad and knows his mom is too, and I hope him and I talked it out enough and that my GF gets to talk about this with him too. We might just sit him down or something. I'll need to talk to her about that. TLDR. My GF went over to my parents behind my back since September after my mother reached out to her, arguing my father was ill. She gradually became more comfortable with leaving my son alone with them. As for why she didn't tell me, she said because she knew I'd say no, but she wanted to see what my parents were like. I guess she figured they weren't that bad after all, but she had backed herself into a corner that first time her and my son visited them in secret. It seems like she thought all was well and she had good intentions, repairing that relationship at least somewhat. She thinks my son has the right to get to know his grandparents, and she's reluctant to agree to take away their visitation rights. I don't think her and I are or will ever be on the same page about this. I don't feel like she understands what could have happened, what these forms of abuse look like or how they work. Her parents, this far, are also agreeing with her, but I haven't talked to them yet. She did apologize, but said I'm overreacting and we agreed to work on all of this, but I'm not sure that will be of any use. At least our son seems fine.